I'm going to show you the exact framework my clients are using to lose 15 to 30 pounds consistently in 90 days or less, all without having to do any restrictive crash diets or work out 5 to 7 days a week. If you're new to my world, I get it. I understand how much information there is online regarding fat loss and how sometimes confusing it can be. But my job today is to shed some light, eliminate the confusion, and most importantly, share what's working for myself and for my clients. Without further ado, let's dive in. By the way, if you want a copy of this document that I'm using right here, you can click somewhere along the video or look in the description for the download link. Alternatively, you can just message me the word ebook on either Instagram or Facebook, and I'll send that your way. All right, so who is this for and who's not for? Most importantly, who is this not for? If you fall in the not for category, you can feel free to watch this video, but more than likely, it's not going to be the best use of your time. The first thing, if you are looking primarily to put on muscle, then this video will have some value, but most of the time I work with clients looking to lose fat. I do help people looking to put on muscle, but this video is primarily for anyone looking to lose fat. So this might not be the best use of your time. Number two, if you're someone that's impatient and looking for quick results, this is not the best video for you. I work with people who are patient, who want to have sustainable results and have lifestyle changes, and who care more about making lasting changes as opposed to just drastic one-time changes. And number three, if you don't care about body composition or changing your life for the better, you just want to lose weight really quick, you want to lose weight for a trip or a birthday or something like that. If that's you, this video is not for you. So that being said, who is this video for? So this video is perfect for anybody who's sick of fad diets, who's sick of being in the toxic weight loss cycle. You've lost 5 pounds here, gained 10 there, lost 10 pounds here, gained 15. You're constantly stuck in that toxic weight loss cycle and you're ready to escape it and do better. Number two, this is for anyone who's looking for a sustainable lifestyle change. You no longer want to be stuck eating like a rabbit, eating 1,000 calories a day, working hard and not seeing results. You no longer want to be starving yourself and frustrated about not being able to lose weight. So if that's you, then this video is perfect for you. Number three, ignore the typo, but this is for anybody who wants to lose fat. Not just lose weight, but actually lose fat. Then this video is perfect for you because body composition matters a lot. Number four, this is for anybody who actually enjoys food and wants to continue enjoying food and doesn't want to eat like a rabbit. You want to love food. You want to be able to go out with your friends for brunch. You want to be able to enjoy birthdays and alcohol here and there, and you don't want to have to restrict yourself every day, right? If that's you, then this video is for you. Number five, this is for anybody who's patient and wants to do things right and in a timely manner. You don't care too much about just drastic weight loss. You want to make sure that you're doing it efficiently, effectively, and you can keep the weight off permanently. So if that's you, then this video is definitely for you. Now, before we even dive into the whole video, I want to first introduce myself and give you some context into who I am and how I came to come up with this model, the Fat Loss Forever framework. So I'm not one of those coaches who has a story of me growing up being fat or growing up out of shape. Growing up, I was very active. I played soccer my whole life. I wrestled, I did track, did martial arts. I was very active. And as a result, I always had a six pack. I was always very in shape. Now, all that changed after I started college. After I started college, I was no longer playing organized sports. I was no longer playing soccer year round. I was no longer wrestling on a team. And my activity went from being here to being down here. As a result, I ended up gaining about the freshman 20. I know most freshmen gain 15 pounds. I gained the freshman 20. And it wasn't due to my lack of activity. It was just due to that drastic change in lifestyle, right? I went from working out, being active 5, 6, 7 days a week to now the only activity I got was being in the gym for a few hours. So I started getting love handles. I started growing fat around my stomach. For the first time in my life, I no longer had a six pack, and it was very frustrating for me not being able to look and feel the way I felt. I would look in the mirror and I wouldn't recognize myself. And for months, I tried anything I could to lose the weight. I did what we did in wrestling to lose weight. The way we lost weight in wrestling is completely different than how we lost weight in life just for fat loss, right? For wrestling, we would wear layers, we would starve ourselves, we would drink a lot of water, we would run every day for hours, and of course, we'd be able to lose 10, 15 pounds in a week, in 2 weeks, in 3 weeks, just to wrestle, just to have a match, and then as soon as the match was over, we'd be able to put the weight back on. It's not healthy. So I tried that after I gained the freshman 20, and I quickly realized it wasn't sustainable. It wasn't healthy for me, and it was very frustrating because I would lose the weight, but I wouldn't lose the fat. So I would drop down from, let's say, 180 to 170, but I would still have those stubborn love handles, that stubborn fat around my stomach. I just didn't feel right. I felt lethargic, so I knew something had to change. And it's crazy because everything changed kind of on accident. It was a serendipitous moment. I went to the University of Maryland, and one of my friends who used to work out with me at the gym, when we used to do bro splits, one of my friends hit me up and he said, "Hey, they're offering a class on personal training. You should take this with me." So initially, I took the class just to learn how to train myself. I took the class just to learn how to work out on my own. And I'm glad I did. That's one of the best decisions I've ever made in my life. I took the class, I aced it with an A, and I eventually ended up taking the personal training certification exam, and I ended up passing that as well. As a result, I learned how to actually train myself to see the results I wanted, to build muscle mass, to lose fat around certain areas. I learned about nutrition, and that opened up a whole world of knowledge for me. I fell in love with the process so much that I decided to continue my education. I ended up taking some nutrition classes, anatomy and physiology, biomechanics. I took so many different courses that actually helped me with just learning more about the human body and how it reacts to exercise and nutrition, and it was amazing for me. Um, Around that time, I was pre med, I was in school, and I needed a job to make money because if you know anything about pre med, you understand that we don't make a lot of money with the little jobs that we do. And EMT didn't make too much money, Scribe didn't make too much money, and I did those jobs, but I needed something to sustain me while I was in school. So um, once again, very serendipitously, a gym opened up near me and they needed new trainers. So I started working with people in that gym, and instantly I applied the same exact things that I learned to get myself in shape on them, and I was able to get them immediate results. Just from working at that gym, I found out that so many different people fell for the same exact tricks that I did when I was younger. There was an information of overload on the internet. There were some people telling them you need to do this diet, don't eat carbs, don't eat after 8 p.m., you need to work out this many times, you need to do cardio. So most of the people that came to me had an overload of information and had no idea what to do. They had no idea the right way to go about doing things. So from that, I was actually able to help a majority of them, to just reclaim their physical health and their mental health as well. And that was very rewarding for me. It was an amazing feeling, and it gave me a sense of accomplishment to be able to help people become the best version of themselves. And for a long time, I was at that gym, but eventually I realized that I was very limited in what I could do. Um, I had a friend who was a coach. He did online coaching as I do now, and he told me about his process, and it seemed like he had a lot more leeway with what he could do for his clients and with his clients. So eventually I felt called to leave that job, to change my career trajectory completely from medical school, and I decided to open up my own personal training company, which is Tank Fitness. Since then, I've been able to help hundreds of men and women like yourself watching this transform their lives, build lean muscle mass, lose fat, and just become a better version of themselves. And so, what I'm going to do today is walk you through what I've learned in my classes and working with different clients for these last couple of years so that you too can exit that toxic weight loss, toxic diet cycle, and finally become the best version of yourself. So, let's dive back in. So the old way of doing things, the old way that people used to lose weight is working out 2 to 3 hours a day for 5 days a week, starving themselves or restricting their calories severely, doing juice cleanses, challenges, detoxes, 7 day fasts, doing crazy diets like keto, intermittent fasting, cutting out sugar, spending hours on the treadmill every day. I promise you, I've seen people do this, doing HIIT workouts every day, HIIT classes, intense workouts every single day, doing workouts from Instagram, doing workouts from TikTok, getting shiny object syndrome with everything and every new diet that popped up. And of course, begging people to be their gym buddies or to hold them accountable. Um, and the main thing, you guys can't see it because my face is covering it, but one of the main things that people did that's not good is they would focus too much on burning calories as opposed to limiting how much calories they're intaking as opposed to building muscle, right? So that's the old way of doing things. That's what you don't want to be doing anymore. Instead, you want to be doing the new way of doing things. You want to make sure you have a personalized workout routine with progressive overload. You want to make sure you have something that works for your lifestyle, something that works for you, as opposed to just following something personalized for everybody else. You want to make sure you have less emphasis on calories burned and more emphasis on building lean muscle mass and minimizing how many calories you're consuming. You also want to make sure that you reject diet culture, because if you, once you get stuck in that diet mindset, it's an endless cycle. So you want to learn how to eat better overall for your lifestyle and for your body. Of course, you want to understand what causes cravings and how to control those cravings. You want to learn how to fix and maximize your metabolism, which is one of the main reasons people get stuck, unable to lose weight. Uh, you also want to be able to bring awareness back to yourself and back into your everyday life to see what habits are keeping you stuck at the same weight, what habits are keeping you stuck, unable to progress to the next level that you want. And last but not least, you want to learn how to incorporate meat into your daily life. That way you can burn more calories at rest with less effort. So this is what it looks like. I call this the Fat Loss Forever framework. It is a framework that I've been able to use not only to help myself, but also to help clients that I've worked with, men and women of all ages from 16 to 73, to lose fat and build lean muscle mass and become a better version of themselves. These are the three biggest problems that typically keep people stuck, unable to lose weight week after week, month after month, for the rest of their lives, basically. There's more than three, but for the sake of this video, these are the main three. These are the most important three. Number one is a restrictive diet trap. Number two is unstructured workouts. Number three is lack of consistency. Now, with the restrictive diet trap, we all know that these fad diets do work. Keto does work. You will lose weight on keto. Intermittent fasting does work. You will lose weight on intermittent fasting, right? But the thing is, they're very restrictive, and as a result, they're not sustainable long term. So while you can lose the weight really quickly in a short time, eventually you will put the weight back on, because once again, it's not sustainable. So if you want to keep the weight off permanently, you have to learn how to eat right versus eating healthy. You have to adopt an 80-20 principle in relation to food, and you have to learn how to eat for your metabolism as opposed to just eating, right? Same thing with the unstructured workouts. Working out does help. Working out is how you build muscle, and it helps you lose weight. What people make the mistake of doing is working out for burning calories as opposed to working out for building lean muscle mass. In addition, people try to work out for it. They try to fit other people's workouts and other people's lifestyles into their own life. So you have to learn how to work out for yourself. So you have to learn how to incorporate a training regimen that works for your current lifestyle. That way it doesn't feel like a chore and you're actually able to stick to it long term. And then last but not least, you have to practice how to be a neat person, all of which we're going to get into very soon. So the last section is just lack of consistency, right? That's the biggest killer of fat loss. You can have the most perfect program designed for you. However, if you're not consistent with it, you're not going to see results. And that lack of consistency typically comes from a lack of awareness, lack of honesty with yourself, lack of accountability, and of course, the inability to reflect regularly about what is happening if you're actually making progress, all of which we're going to get into very soon. So let's go ahead and break this down with the three components in the whole Fat Loss Forever framework. The first component is the flexible eating framework, right? The goal of this is to have you exit the toxic diet cycle and learn how to eat overall. The cycle can keep you stuck in there for years, for months, if you're not careful. So the goal is to just exit that. How do we do that? By learning how to adopt the 80-20 principle, right? The 80-20 principle is something that I teach my clients to have them be able to eat quote unquote healthy, nutritious food, but also be able to eat their favorite junk food every once in a while. By having that balance, you're able to actually stick to the diet that you have for yourself long term, as opposed to just restricting yourself and forcing yourself not to. Once you adopt the 80-20 principle, you're actually able to stick to your diet long term. Another part of this framework as well is eating thermic foods, foods that work with your metabolism, foods that build your metabolism as opposed to tearing it down. And then last but not least, just simplifying the whole approach to nutrition and finding ways to integrate it into your lifestyle. So if you're very busy and you can't cook every day, finding solutions to make sure that you're not resorting to eating Popeyes every day or buying McDonald's, you know. So if you have to order food, if you have to order meal prep delivery services, if you have to meal prep yourself, if you have to just basically finding different ways to make sure that you're able to eat the right foods consistently. So that's the flexible eating framework. The next framework is a lifestyle integration framework. One of the biggest reasons people struggle to actually lose weight is because they're trying to work out like other people. You can't work out like your favorite influencer. They're paid to be fit. They're paid to work out. They can work out 7 days a week and be completely fine. You can't do that. You have a family, you have a job, you have a demanding career. You have to focus and maximize your time in the gym, right? So the focus of the lifestyle integration framework is to focus on building muscle as opposed to burning calories. The biggest mistake too many people do with the gym is they focus on burning as many calories as they want. That way they can eat more. That's not how you should go about that. In addition to this, we have to have metabolic resistance training. If you build more muscle, your metabolism is more efficient. So that's the whole point of this framework. Focus on increasing your metabolism. That way you can burn more calories at rest. If you look at this diagram right here, majority of your daily calories burned comes from your BMR, your resting metabolism. The next comes from NEAT, which is you just being active. Anything that's not eating, sleeping, or exercise, right? And then the next one comes from the thermic effect of food, which we discussed in the last section. You know, being able to eat foods that work with your metabolism. And then last but not least, exercise. That's the very last. Only 5% of daily calories come from that. So if you're focused on burning calories, you're wasting your time. Your focus should be on building lean muscle mass so that you can maximize your BMR. Part of the lifestyle integration framework is just being efficient with how you train. You don't need to be in the gym 6 7 days a week to lose weight or to build muscle. 3 to 4 times a week, 45 to 60 minutes is more than enough, especially when you incorporate NEAT, non-exercise androthermic activity. When you incorporate NEAT and you move more, because most of us lead very sedentary lives, right? So if you want to maximize your efforts in the gym, you have to focus on these four things. Now, the last one is actually the most important framework, and that's the fail-proof accountability system. There's so many different parts of this that I actually want to cover. The first one is radical honesty and awareness. You first have to understand where you are in your fitness journey. So many people try to just jump into a fat loss phase without really understanding where they're at physically, right? So the first part of my program, what I do with my clients is I do include a diagnosis phase where we actually see if they're ready for a fat loss phase. How does your body react to being in a deficit? How does your body react to exercise? How does your metabolism react? Once you're ready to be in a fat loss phase, now we have you in a foundational phase where we build upon certain habits, certain skills that we mentioned in the lifestyle framework and in the flexible eating framework. We build these skills that we will use to get you from point A to point B. And once we have that down, now we can actually work on, accelerating and help you be the better version of yourself. So the next part of this is just a system to track your progress and to track what you're doing, to make sure what you're doing works. And then, of course, to regularly check in with yourself to make sure, once again, that everything you're doing it works. One of the worst things that I hear people say is, I've been working out consistently for 6 months, 7 months, and I haven't seen any results. If you have that in your head, if this is you, that means you're doing something wrong. Because if I'm tracking what I'm doing for 2, 3, 4 weeks and nothing changes, that's an indication that there's something wrong. So typically people don't even have a way to track what they're doing. So what I do with my clients is I do have them track their weight every single week. I have them track their progress pictures every 2 weeks, and I have them track their food and their workouts so that we know what's going on. So that if there's ever a time when there's no progress being made, we can adjust, right? We can adjust a week, 2 weeks in, as opposed to waiting 6 months before doing something about it. And the last thing of the fail-proof accountability system is to just check in with someone. You need to have somebody, you need to be accountable to somebody other than yourself. If you're the only person checking in with yourself, you are more likely to fall off. You're more likely to default and give up on what you're doing. However, if you are being accountable to somebody else, of course, you're going to be consistent. Of course, you're gonna, do what you need to do. Now you're probably thinking, oh, this all sounds great, but does it actually work? How do I know that this actually works? So here are a couple of people that I have implemented this system with and that you can see works, people from all walks of life, men, women, young, old, such as Sam, who was stuck at a plateau for over 6 months prior to him reaching out to me. Once he started working with me, we diagnosed where he was at. We gave him a plan of attack of what to eat, how to exercise, and change some of his daily habits that were keeping him stuck. And as a result, in 3 months, he was able to lose 32 pounds. Next up, we have Roy, who at 73 years old ended up losing 35 pounds in about a year. The thing with Roy is he did not track calories. I do have my clients track calories because it's the easiest way to get from point A to point B. But my programs are very personalized. So if you're not keen on tracking calories, we can work something else out. Now there's Maya. Maya, loved working with her. She lost about 60 pounds in less than 7 months. She did all this stuff while being able to travel, while being able to go out with her friends and enjoy food. And of course, she was able to increase confidence. As a result, she learned how to work out properly. And she learned that she didn't have to spend hours in the gym on the treadmill every day, as long as she maximized metabolism and stayed in a slight caloric deficit. Then, of course, you have my man Dane right here. Dane lost 20 pounds in 16 weeks, which is amazing progress. He increased strength in all his compounds like squat, bench, deadlift. He learned how to eat right as opposed to eating healthy. And then, of course, he stopped overtraining, which he was actually doing before working with me. He did all this while working out less than when he came in. And then, of course, Julissa. Julissa is amazing. She lost 50 pounds working with me and then went on to lose an additional 30 pounds using the skills that she learned from my program. Again, there's Jay. He lost 22 pounds in 12 weeks, the lowest he had been since his freshman years of college. He cured his gym anxiety and got over his fear of re injury because he had injured himself early on in his life, which kind of scared him into not going back to the gym. In addition, he eliminated being bloated every day, his skin cleared up, and he learned how to eat right for his goal and for his lifestyle. Now, I could really go on forever. I've worked with hundreds of clients and helped them change their lives and help them escape that restrictive diet trap and become better versions of themselves overall. Not just with fat loss, but with habits, with lifestyle changes, with mental clarity, with energy. So, that being said, I want to extend an invitation to you. If everything I said made sense and it resonated with you and you like what you heard, I want to extend an invitation to work with me one on one to implement these things into your life. So if you're somebody that wants to lose at least 15 to 30 pounds in the next 90 days and learn how to keep it off permanently, then I want to extend an invitation for you to apply to work with me so that we can implement this system into your lifestyle. So if you are somebody that wants to lose at least 15 to 30 pounds in the next 90 days, all without having to spend 2 hours in the gym 5 to 6 days a week and without having to do any restrictive diets, then I want you to DM me the word fat loss framework. You can DM me that on Instagram or Facebook. And from there, I'll reach out and we'll see if this is the right fit. If it is the right fit, we'll take the next steps. And if it's not, then I'll point you in the right direction. And of course, if you're not ready, I completely understand. Not everybody is always ready to invest in themselves. So you can still connect with me. We can connect on Instagram where I post. This is my most posted platform. I post, as you can see, 837 posts. I'm posting on there at least once a day, posting value, doing giveaways, doing quizzes. So DM me on there, follow me on there, let's connect. You can also message me on Facebook where I also post some value. I have a Facebook group where I post a lot more things. So follow me on there. Alternatively, I have a TikTok and a YouTube where you're probably watching this from. And then last but not least, you can also subscribe to my email newsletter just to receive some more tips, some more workouts, just more value from me in general. The last thing I want to say here is I appreciate you watching this all the way to the end. I appreciate you just sitting through and checking this out. If you've been struggling with your weight for a while, I understand. As I've said before, I've worked with hundreds of people in your shoes, and I know it seems frustrating and I know it seems like you'll never be able to get rid of this weight, but that's not true. Eventually you will be. But I do want to remind you that nothing changes unless you do. You owe it to yourself, your family, your kids, your significant other, and to society to be the best version of yourself. Imagine how much more you could accomplish if you were happy, if you were confident, if you were energized, and if you felt like the best version of yourself. The sooner you learn the skills I mentioned before and the sooner you implement them into your life, then the sooner you can start feeling like the best version of yourself, and the sooner you can be more effective in anything you want in this life. So if you're interested in having me implement this system into your life, once again, go ahead and DM me the word framework. And with that being said, once again, thank you for watching. I hope you have an amazing rest of your day, and I hope to connect with you soon.